February 2014. Tokyo. Mark Karpelès stares at a spreadsheet that doesn't make sense. The numbers say Mt. Gox is holding 850,000 bitcoins for its customers, roughly $450 million at the time. Some of the deepest pockets in the crypto world trusted this exchange with their money. But when his engineers actually go looking for those coins, they're not there. Not stolen yesterday, not stolen last week, gone. Quietly, for years, while the company kept telling its customers everything was fine. He shuts his laptop, doesn't call the police, doesn't tell his customers. He goes home. The world's largest Bitcoin exchange, the one handling 70% of all Bitcoin transactions on Earth, is about to file for bankruptcy. And almost nobody outside that room knows it yet. Here's the strange part. Mt. Gox wasn't originally supposed to be a Bitcoin exchange at all. It started as Magic, the Gathering online exchange, literally a website for trading collectible card game cards. A programmer built it, lost interest, and eventually sold it to a young French developer named Mark Karpelès, who repurposed it into a Bitcoin exchange almost as an afterthought. By 2013, that afterthought was processing more Bitcoin trades than every other exchange in the world combined. And it was being run with the security practices of a hobby project because, in a lot of ways, that's exactly what it still was underneath. To understand how the world's biggest cryptocurrency exchange lost nearly $1 billion in coins, you have to go back to the very thing that made it so easy to steal from in the first place. Bitcoin, by design, is supposed to be transparent. Every transaction lives on a public ledger anyone can check. In theory, that makes stealing it traceable. Mt. Gox's actual coins, though, weren't managed the way modern exchanges handle crypto today. Most of the customer funds sat in what's called a hot wallet, connected to the internet, reachable, convenient. Convenient for customers. Also convenient for anyone who managed to get inside. And people had been getting inside for a long time. As early as 2011, attackers had already compromised Mt. Gox systems once, briefly crashing the price of Bitcoin to 1 cent by manipulating a compromised account. That should have been the wake-up call. Instead, the exchange patched what it could see and kept growing, adding more users, more volume, more money flowing through the same fragile infrastructure. What almost nobody realized was that the real damage wasn't a single dramatic break-in. It was a slow bleed. Small thefts repeated quietly over years, some investigators believe as early as 2011, possibly even before Karpelès took over the company. Each theft chipped away at the reserves. And because the company's internal accounting never properly reconciled what it actually held against what its software said it should hold, nobody noticed the gap growing. The exchange kept operating exactly like a bank that didn't know it had already been robbed, cashing checks against a vault that was quietly draining out from underneath it. By the time anyone at Mt. Gox seriously investigated, in late 2013 and early 2014, the numbers didn't just look off, they looked catastrophic. Roughly 850,000 bitcoins belonging to the exchange and its customers, around 7% of all Bitcoin in existence at the time, were simply unaccounted for. And the company had known enough to be worried for months before it said a word to the public. On February 7, 2014, Mt. Gox quietly suspended all withdrawals, citing technical issues. Customers who'd trusted the exchange with their savings watched their accounts freeze in place, with no real explanation. For days, rumors spread across Bitcoin forums. Screenshots leaked. A supposed internal document began circulating online, claiming the exchange had lost nearly all its coins to years of undetected theft. On February 28, Mt. Gox finally filed for bankruptcy protection in Tokyo. The company that had once handled the majority of the world's Bitcoin trading volume admitted, in a room full of stunned reporters, that it had lost 850,000 customer Bitcoins, worth roughly $450 million at the time. Some of it, investigators later determined, had likely been siphoned out gradually through a compromised private key, years before anyone noticed. A portion of the missing coins was eventually recovered. Most of it never was. For thousands of ordinary people, early Bitcoin adopters, small investors, people who'd put their savings into what they believed was the most trusted exchange in the world, Their money simply vanished into a spreadsheet error that had been quietly compounding since before most of them ever signed up. Mark Karpelès was later arrested in Japan and tried on charges related to data manipulation and embezzlement. He was ultimately convicted only on a lesser charge, walking away with a suspended sentence. Nobody was ever definitively convicted for the actual theft of the coins. To this day, exactly how and when the Bitcoins disappeared remains disputed. External hackers, internal mismanagement, or some tangled combination of both that nobody has ever fully sorted out. The vault everyone trusted turned out to have been empty for years. Nobody thought to check until it was already too late to matter.